So our main character tricks his wife into signing the divorce papers and completely vanishes from her life. Honestly, he thought she would be thrilled. See, her heart only ever belonged to her childhood crush, leaving our guy as a mere substitute. He low-key believed effort could win her over, but that delusion shattered when her first love returned. He finally realized love is not a meritocracy. He packs his bags to walk away from this toxic marriage. But wait, there is a massive twist. The moment he vanishes, this Ice Queen absolutely loses it. She searches for him in the freezing rain for 7 days. 7 days! She completely breaks down. Let us rewind to the night of their 5th anniversary. His mother-in-law calls him up, asking if Yunchen is really going through with divorcing Qinghuan. He gently tells her that their marriage was just a 5-year contract anyway. Now that the deal is up and her precious Cheng Nansheng is divorced and back, she does not need him anymore. On the other end, Mother Song lets out a heavy sigh, feeling incredibly guilty. She knows exactly how much pain Yunchen endured just to make her daughter happy. She admittingly thought his devotion would eventually win her daughter over, but sadly, some things just cannot be forced. Since the first love is back to take care of her, she reminds Yunchen that 5 years ago, he sacrificed his dream of studying abroad. She asks if he still wants to go. She offers to pull some strings to send him abroad. Yunchen stares at the blooming flower, his mind going completely blank for a second. 5 years. He put his entire life on pause for Song Qinghuan, and he is finally ready to move on. He nods and thanks her, accepting the offer. He asks her to set things up because he wants to escape this place as soon as possible. As the call ends, the blooming flower outside slowly withers. Just like that withered flower, his 5-year marriage is officially over. But why did he even marry her in the first place? Let us back up. He was so brilliant that he scored the school's only exchange student slot. Before leaving the country, he went to the Song residence to personally show his gratitude. Out of all the students they sponsored, Yunchen was the first to actually show up and say thank you. This rare sincerity catches Mother Song off guard, making her hesitate. She tells him that if he truly wants to repay the debt, he has to do her a massive favor. That is when he learns the tragic backstory of Song Qinghuan and her first love. Qinghuan and Cheng Nansheng were the ultimate golden couple. Both heirs to massive fortunes, they practically grew up together as childhood sweethearts. Everyone knew she was head over heels for him, but since Cheng Nansheng wanted a slow burn romance, she patiently waited by his side for years. She silently guarded him, waiting for graduation to finally confess her feelings. But right when she is about to make her move, Cheng Nansheng pulls a fast one. He gets a random girlfriend and flees the country. Devastated, she races to the airport in a panic, but gets into a brutal car crash on the way. While she is recovering from major surgery, she learns he married the other girl abroad. Her world shatters. She spirals hard. The proud heiress is reduced to a shadow of her former self. Seeing her daughter destroy herself, Mother Song decides to use Yunchen to pull her out of the dark. He was tasked with helping her heal from the heartbreak. To pay back his tuition debt, Yunchen sacrifices his dream exchange program and signs a 5-year deal. He stages a perfect first encounter with Qinghuan at a high-end party, putting on a flawless act of falling in love at first sight. He starts pursuing her like crazy. Soon, the entire high society is gossiping about this guy who is absolutely obsessed with Song Qinghuan. She gets used to his endless affection, but she still keeps her guard up. That is, until one night on a luxury yacht with her friends. They make a reckless bet. Whoever state jumps into the dark ocean to retrieve a tossed ring wins a highly valuable piece of land. Yunchen knows she desperately needs that deal. She had been losing sleep for days trying to secure it. While everyone else backs away from the roaring waves, our guy does not hesitate, not for a second. He dives straight into the freezing sea. That was the first time Qinghuan actually shows concern, sobbing as she tightly hugs his shivering body. She begs him to marry her, promising she will learn to love him. But get this, he later finds out her proposal was a total sham. She only asked because her first love posted a photo kissing his wife. Talk about a brutal ego check. Honestly, that is just painful. Even knowing he was just a rebound, Yunchen stays committed to his contract. He does everything to make her happy, hoping to erase her ex entirely. He cooks, cleans, and handles the chores. When he learns her childhood dream was to see a meteor shower, he spends 6 months searching for the perfect mountain peak. But she never shows up. He waits alone in the cold all night, only to find out she flew across the globe to comfort her first love. Cheng Nansheng's marriage was falling apart, and from that day on, she starts flying abroad every single week just to check on him. She brings expensive, thoughtful gifts to his doorstep just to put a smile on his face, keeping her identity hidden like some secret admirer. The day he finally flies back to China, she literally crashes her car speeding to the airport. Yunchen stays up for 3 straight days by her bedside. But even while unconscious, she keeps muttering her first love's name. At that point, our guy finally realizes he has lost this battle. Some hearts just cannot be salvaged. Luckily, his contract is finally up. Her ex is divorced and back, and everyone gets what they wanted. She gets her dream man, and Yunchen gets his freedom. Suddenly, she walks into the kitchen and demands to know who he is talking to. Finding him staring blankly at his phone, she looks suspicious. He just plays it cool, saying it was no one. Later that night, he lies awake listening to her sleep. He stares at the ceiling until dawn, unable to close his eyes. At breakfast, she frowns at the Western-style meal he prepared and complains that she hates Western food. He quietly chews a piece of steak, keeping his eyes down. He calmly lies that it was the only food left in the fridge. But the truth is, he is just training his palate for his move abroad. Luckily, she is too distracted to care. She keeps staring at her screen, clearly waiting for a text from her precious first love. Suddenly, her phone starts buzzing. She grabs her phone instantly. Whatever Cheng Nansheng sent must have been hilarious, because her usually icy lips actually curve into a smile while he just watches. He stares at her for a long moment before finally pulling out the divorce papers he prepared ages ago. Since day one, he has been waiting for this exact escape. "Song Qinghuan, let us get a divorce," he says. His voice is completely casual and flat, as if he is just talking about the weather. But she is so hyper-focused on chatting with Cheng Nansheng that she just brushes him off without even processing his words. No surprise there. This is their usual dynamic. For 5 years, she has kept him at arm's length. Now that her precious first love is back, she cannot even spare him a single second of attention. He flips the papers to the final page and hands her a pen, pointing at the signature line. She just mumbles a mindless agreement, too busy typing to even look. She signs her own divorce papers with one hand without even reading them, while her other hand keeps texting. Bro, she literally signed her marriage away for a text. He calmly tells her he will leave once the 30-day cooling-off period ends. She just hums again, drops her fork, and gets up to walk away. Watching her walk away, he finally calls out to ask if she even knows what she just signed. She stops, turning back with a totally clueless look. "Isn't it just that contract for the orphanage supplies?" she asks, claiming he already brought it up days ago. She really has zero clues about what just happened. He just laughs internally, because he actually had her sign that supply contract last month. Talk about a wife who pays absolutely zero attention to her husband. But honestly, it does not even matter anymore. He just smiles and silently wishes her a happy life with her precious Cheng Nansheng. He is officially checked out. He tells her it is nothing, and that afternoon he drives down to the orphanage with the supply truck. Once his work is done, he visits the director. He is there to say goodbye, telling the director he is finally going abroad to study. She is thrilled because he was always an incredibly talented art student. When he gave up his dreams years ago, she was devastated for him. Holding his hand, she celebrates the news before a sudden worry washes over her face. But going abroad means a long-distance relationship with Qinghuan, she notes, pointing out how hard that can be. Looking at the kids outside, he just shakes his head. He quietly admits that they are not doing long distance because they are getting divorced. The director freezes in shock, then lets out a long sigh of relief. She knew this marriage would never last, she says. After all, if his wife truly cared, she would not have neglected him like this for years. She never even bothered to visit the orphanage with him once. Getting divorced is honestly the best choice, she says, comforting him. He cannot help but agree. Once he gets back to the villa, he heads straight upstairs to the closet and starts packing up his things. It is time to leave the past behind. But here is the heartbreaking part. He realizes he barely owns anything except a few outfits from when they first married. His wife never bought him a single thing. After packing up, he grabs all the gifts he bought her over the years and decides to sell them for scrap. He spent so much trying to make her happy. Every single birthday gift he carefully chose was thrown into a corner to gather dust, completely ignored. It is honestly so painful to watch how she treated him. Just as the scrap truck drives off and he turns to head inside, a loud honk startles him. A sleek Maybach pulls right up to his driveway. Out steps his sister-in-law, Song Yao, rocking a loud red dress. She scoffs at the departing scrap truck and immediately gives him a judgmental look. Classic gold digger comment, mocking him for acting like a poor guy who has to sell trash. He does not even give her the time of day. As he turns to walk away, her smug grin vanishes. She lunges forward, trying to grab him because she is absolutely not used to being ignored. Yunchen, she yells. He used to swallow his pride and tolerate their family, but now that he is finally biting back, she is losing her mind. Furious, she asks if he is deaf and demands to know why he is ignoring her. He just turns around and aggressively brushes her hand off. A flash of pure irritation crosses his face. Honestly, this sister has been a total menace for 5 years, constantly treating him like trash. She would throw away his homemade breakfast or stomp on his clean laundry, but since he is leaving, he is officially done playing nice. She is ready to scream, but then stops with a nasty smirk. She tells him he might as well sell more trash because he is about to get replaced. Her sister's ultimate white moonlight is finally back, she gloats, telling him it is time for the fake husband to pack up and get lost. Right on cue, a guy in a plain white shirt steps out of the car. And yep, this is his very first time seeing the infamous Cheng Nansheng. The guy has that classic delicate look, messy dark hair, pale skin, and an effortless vibe that makes him look like a model without even trying. It is obvious the last 5 years did not age him a bit, unlike our poor main character. No wonder the wife is still obsessed with him. Cheng Nansheng walks over, playing the sweet guy, telling Song Yao to stop being so rude since Yunchen is still technically her brother-in-law. But the sister immediately snaps, complaining that she already explained the whole situation during their car ride. She is determined to push him out. She literally blabs that her sister flew abroad every single week just to see him, and that all those fancy gifts were actually bought for him. After professing her sister's love, she snaps at the main character, demanding he act like a servant and carry the rival's luggage inside. Insane audacity, right? She brags that her sister already invited the guy to move in. He just glances at the bags, ignores them completely, and walks right past them. Leaving her throwing a temper tantrum in the driveway, the driver eventually carries the bags in. But she is not done trying to start drama. Just as she is about to cause a scene, Song Qinghuan rushes through the door, her eyes immediately locking onto her precious first love sitting on the couch. Looking visibly relieved, she casually tells our main character that Cheng Nansheng needs to stay with them while his old place is being renovated. He stays completely silent. Seeing the cold tension, the first love puts on this fake pitiful act and slowly gets up from the sofa. Cheng Nansheng instantly puts on his best victim face. He suggests leaving since this is their marital home and Yunchen looks upset. Song Qinghuan stops him right away, claiming her husband is way too generous to get mad over something this small. Meanwhile, Yunchen just watches them. He actually smiles. He tells Cheng Nansheng to make himself comfortable because, honestly, this house will be his sooner or later anyway. Ouch. Fearing her precious friend might leave, Song Qinghuan orders the maids to move his bags into the master guest room. Then, Song Yao smirks at Yunchen. She demands to know why he is still standing there instead of cooking, reminding him that Cheng Nansheng cannot eat spicy food. Yes, Yunchen always had to cook. All because Song Qinghuan is insanely picky and refuses to eat anything unless it is made by him, even turning down Michelin star chefs. Seriously, she is so toxic. Yet no matter how much effort he poured in, she would only take a few bites, and her sister would just sit there criticizing every single dish. But this time, Yunchen simply shakes his head. He flat out tells them he is not doing it. Song Qinghuan freezes, staring at him in total disbelief. In her mind, Yunchen was always the obedient husband who never said no to her family. This is his first time ever turning them down. Before she can even speak, Cheng Nansheng's eyes instantly well up with tears. He starts crying, saying he is just an outsider and cannot possibly let Yunchen cook for him. This guy's green tea behavior is off the charts. Song Qinghuan grabs him to stop him, saying it is not his fault. Then she glares at Yunchen, demanding to know what his problem is. Yunchen calmly lifts his hand. Band-Aids are wrapped around his fingers. He tells them he got hurt and cannot touch water. But honestly, he is fine. The marriage contract is just finally over. He only used the Band-Aids as an excuse to skip kitchen duty. The room goes dead silent because he was the one running this entire household. Normally, the maids go home early since he handles everything. With him striking, there is absolutely no one left to make dinner. It is way too late to call the staff back. Song Yao scowls, immediately accusing him of trying to starve them on purpose. Peacemaker Act activated. Cheng Nansheng quickly steps in and pulls her back before she can yell more. He turns to Song Qinghuan, softly mentioning how much he missed that old hot pot place near their high school while he was abroad. He reminisces about how they used to go there after late classes, suggesting they go out for hot pot tonight instead. Of course, Song Qinghuan instantly agrees, speaking in her softest voice. She drags Yunchen along, entirely focused on her passenger back seat on the drive. She keeps chatting away with the two in the back, laughing about their high school memories as Cheng Nansheng and Song Yao join in. The three of them are having the time of their lives, but suddenly, Cheng Nansheng stops laughing and looks over at Yunchen. He offers a fake apology, saying they did not mean to ignore him. It is just that Yunchen was never part of those memories. Yunchen does not care because he has no intention of being in their future anyway. He just closes his eyes, making Song Qinghuan feel uneasy. Once they park, he heads straight to the restroom, splashing cold water on his face. Looking in the mirror, it is honestly heartbreaking. Even with his handsome looks, the sheer exhaustion is visible. After 5 years of this miserable marriage, Yunchen is completely drained. Just hold on a little longer, he tells himself, and he will finally be free. Back in the private room, they have already ordered. Song Qinghuan carefully tells the waiter to avoid meat and cilantro, proving she still remembers every single preference of Cheng Nansheng after all these years. Then she actually asks about his preferences? After 5 years of marriage, this is literally a first. He just cleans his utensils and quietly says anything is fine except seafood. Throughout the meal, Song Qinghuan only focuses on feeding Cheng Nansheng. But halfway through, a huge argument breaks out at the table right next to them. Things escalate quickly as the neighbors start throwing hands, and while other customers try to intervene, things take a wild turn. One hot-headed guy suddenly picks up a pot of boiling broth and hurls it. The other guy ducks, but the liquid flies right at them. Amid the screams, Song Qinghuan instinctively shields her precious childhood friend. Leaving Yunchen with absolutely no time to react, he can only watch in horror as the scalding soup pours directly onto him. He is drenched in boiling soup. Blisters start forming instantly on his pale arms. The searing pain feels like 10,000 needles stabbing his skin, leaving him completely breathless. Song Qinghuan finally looks over and panics, rushing to ask if he is okay and offering to take him to the hospital. He is in too much pain to even make a sound. But suddenly, Song Yao screams, asking how Cheng Nansheng got hurt so badly. Song Qinghuan instantly abandons Yunchen and runs to Cheng Nansheng, who only has a couple of tiny drops of hot oil on his arm. He pulls back with teary eyes, acting all self-sacrificing, telling her to take Yunchen instead because his injuries look way worse. But Song Yao yells that even a scratch hurts him, pressuring her sister to ignore Yunchen and take Cheng Nansheng first. She stomps her feet and threatens the brawlers, warning them that they are dead meat for hurting her precious brother. At this point, Cheng Nansheng starts whimpering in pain, playing his victim card to the absolute max. Lan Yao tells Song Qinghuan to go check on the rival Shijian first because his injuries are apparently way worse. Seeing him like this breaks her heart completely. Disregarding her own messy state, Lan Yao immediately scoops up Cheng Nansheng and heads out, but she stops right before leaving as if she suddenly remembered something. She gives Shu Yunchen this fake guilty look, saying Cheng Nansheng has sensitive skin and can't handle pain, so Yunchen should just call his own cab to the hospital. Talk about trash behavior. And just like that, they leave him behind. Once their shadows vanish, Shi Yunchen finally snaps out of it, gasping in absolute agony as the burns kick in. Seeing our boy abandoned and in terrible shape, a sympathetic waiter rushes over, apologizing profusely while doing what they can to treat his severe wounds on the spot. After taking some painkillers, the agonizing sting finally dulls enough for him to speak. He borrows a clean outfit from the staff, gets changed, and slowly hobbles out. Shaking all over, he somehow manages to catch a cab to the hospital. Inside, the doctor starts popping and flattening his painful blisters with a cotton swab. Ouch, that looks painful. The doctor warns him to apply the ointment daily to avoid permanent scarring. Yunchen just squeezes his eyes shut to endure the pain, while two nurses walk past nearby. They're gossiping about how incredibly sweet President Song is to Mr. An, booking an entire floor just because he got splashed with a few tiny drops of hot pot oil? Seriously? Are you kidding me? She even called in every skin specialist in the city. The nurse literally says that if they arrived any later, his tiny scratch would have already healed itself. Bro, the favoritism is wild. The other nurse laughs, calling her a once-in-a-lifetime catch. Yunchen can only smile bitterly at this. Abandoning your severely burned husband for a tiny scratch? Yeah, she really is one in a million. After getting bandaged up, he thanks the doctor and heads out. The moment he steps through the hospital gates, his phone buzzes. He opens it up to see a life-changing message. It's an official acceptance letter from his dream school abroad, reminding him to prepare an admission painting. After 5 long years, our boy is finally picking up his paintbrush again. He buys some fresh brushes and paints right away, but instead of heading back to that toxic Song family villa, he decides to go clear his head at Lanyue Mountain. Good for him. The scenery up there is absolutely breathtaking. Crystal clear lakes sit quietly between the rolling peaks, reflecting the mountains like a perfect natural canvas. It's the ultimate healing spot. Yunchen takes a deep, long breath. For the first time, all the suffocating pain and suppression from his 5-year marriage instantly melt away, replaced by a beautiful, long-lost sense of freedom. With pure inspiration flooding his mind, his brush finally touches the blank canvas. Before long, a stunning, peaceful view begins to bloom right before his eyes. No toxic drama, no city noise, just birds chirping and the gentle wind. For 3 full days, he completely loses himself in his art, finding peace before submitting his application. But the moment he powers up his phone, his screen is absolutely flooded with missed calls and texts. They're all from his wife, Song Qinghuan, which is literally a first for them. Before this, he was always the one chasing her, while she never bothered to call him back or even return a single missed call. But get this, right as he's staring in disbelief, Song Yao calls him. The second he answers, her incredibly annoying, screeching voice blasts through the speaker, demanding to know where the hell he's been hiding all this time. She screams that her sister has gone absolutely insane trying to find him. She tells him not to think this petty, silent treatment will actually get her sister's attention. She even says the spot of the family's master belongs only to Cheng Nansheng before hanging up on him. Yunchen just stands there, deeply frowning at her sheer audacity. Like, did he hear that right? Song Qinghuan is looking for him like crazy? He wants to call back to clarify, but looking at his log, he sees 108 missed calls. It turns out she really was desperately trying to reach him. Confused, but not really caring, he heads back to the villa with his canvas. The moment he steps out, the maids rush over. They look absolutely relieved, like they just survived a major crisis, with a few of them practically crying. They tell him they are so incredibly glad he's finally back. They complain that the entire house has been a total mess since he left. Apparently, Song Qinghuan has been absolutely furious and throwing non-stop tantrums at everyone. Yunchen realized she is just throwing a fit because she missed his daily pampering, but honestly, she needs to get used to it because he's leaving her for good very soon. After comforting the staff, he walks inside to find the entire place pitch black. Song Qinghuan is just sitting there, alone on the sofa, with the dim moonlight casting cold shadows over her. The pale light emphasizes her sharp, cold features. Hearing his footsteps, she finally lifts her head, her eyes locking onto him in absolute silence for a long moment. Barely hiding her annoyance, she demands to know where he's been hiding. Yunchen casually hangs up his coat, calmly telling her he just went up to the mountains to paint. She frowns, asking why he's suddenly so interested in art. But here's the thing. He was actually a top-tier art student before sacrificing his career to marry her. If he hadn't stayed behind to repay her family, he'd be a famous painter by now. Of course, he doesn't tell her this, just casually sips his water and changes the subject. He just says he suddenly felt like drawing. Seeing his cold attitude, she clears her throat and claims she didn't mean to abandon him back at the restaurant. Sure, Jan. She defends herself, saying Cheng Nansheng is delicate, terrified of pain, and practically bleeds from a paper cut. Since they grew up together, she's just used to babysitting him. She tells him he didn't even object back then, so she doesn't get why he's throwing a tantrum and running away. At this point, the audacity of this woman is unreal. She adds that Cheng Nansheng's place is finally renovated and he's moved out, so he should stop throwing fits over petty things. She even has the nerve to sound accusatory. It's unclear if she's mad about his sudden departure or blaming his jealousy for forcing her precious Moonlight to pack up early. But honestly, Yunchen couldn't care less. He just gives her a vague, dismissive nod and heads upstairs. But then she stands up from the couch and calls out his name, stopping him in his tracks. She casually tells him she's hungry and asks him to cook her some noodles. He just slowly raises his heavily bandaged hand, asking if she completely forgot he's injured too. That actually shuts her up. Yunchen doesn't even wait for a response and just heads up to bed. A few days later, he walks out of his room to find her holding a gift. She hands him a box containing an expensive jewelry set. She clears her throat, saying she was so busy with Cheng Nansheng last time that she forgot to check on him. She calls it compensation, but looking at the gorgeous emerald necklace, Yunchen's heart just feels heavy. Talk about too little, too late. It's been 5 whole years of marriage, and this is literally the first gift she's ever bought him. And yet, it's only to buy off her guilt for abandoning him. He suddenly remembers the massive pile of expensive, thoughtful gifts she got for her precious Moonlight sitting in her study. It's almost hilarious, and his heart cold-heartedly closes off. Honestly, our boy Yunchen doesn't even want the gifts he used to dream about. When he hesitates, Song Qinghuan just assumes he doesn't like it. She has been so busy chasing her crush Cheng Nansheng that she just had her assistant buy the most expensive thing at the auction. 0 effort, honestly. Before Song Qinghuan can even finish her sentence, her sister Song Yao barged in, shouting about how much her sister loves Cheng Nansheng. She literally drags Cheng Nansheng inside, complaining that he shouldn't have moved out and needs to visit her sister more often. Then she spots the ring box and squeals. Oh my god, Cheng Nansheng literally just said he loved this exact design. She can't believe her sister bought this pinky ring for him. Cheng Nansheng blushes instantly, acting all shy. Seeing Song Qinghuan hesitate, Yunchen is just done. He grabs the jewelry box and hands it straight to Cheng Nansheng. He tells him to take it since it was bought for him anyway. Just like that, he solves his wife's little dilemma. But for the first time ever, Song Qinghuan is not looking at her crush. She is staring at Yunchen, totally thrown off by his indifference. She can tell he has changed, but she can't quite put her finger on it. Fast forward 1 week. Finally, the divorce cooling off period is officially over. Our guy is halfway through packing his bags when a sudden delivery arrives. Song Qinghuan sends her assistant with a luxury suit, inviting him to a family banquet. Honestly, our guy finds this hilarious. Legally, they are already completely done, but she has no clue. She actually expects him to show up as her husband. He wants to refuse, but Song's mother has always been good to him. Plus, he needs his travel documents from her, so he agrees. He dresses up and arrives at the massive, glitzy banquet hall. It's packed with high society elite, clinking glasses and laughing. Right in the center of the hall, Cheng Nansheng is surrounded by his hype men. They are all gushing about how much Song Qinghuan loves him. They point out the rare pinky ring bought straight from a luxury auction. It literally symbolizes one-of-a-kind, undying love. Turns out Song Qinghuan was the mystery buyer who dropped a fortune on it. She is seriously still obsessed with him after all these years. His friends bring up the past, like how she used to walk him home and secretly stuff his desk with chocolates. They even mention how she practically lost her mind trying to apologize whenever they had a fight back then. She would show up with completely bloodshot eyes, begging for help. When Cheng Nansheng ignored her, it literally ruined her. Seriously, nobody loves Cheng Nansheng more than her. She was apparently devastated when he briefly married someone else. She even flew abroad every single week just to check on him and buy him gifts to cheer him up. Now that they are both single, they are pushing him to just get back with her. After all, she does not even care about her current husband. Ain't no way. Yunchen is literally standing in the corner, quietly watching his wife's friends hype up her ex. He just listens to them brag about how much his own wife loved another man. Suddenly, a voice calls his name from behind. It is Song's mother. He almost calls her mom, but catches himself and politely calls her auntie instead. She sighs, looking pretty sad. She hands him his passport and travel papers. Since his new semester starts soon, his flight is scheduled for tonight. His flight leaves in just 3 hours. She asks if he needs anything else. Young Chen looks at the documents, feeling a massive weight lift. The thought of finally being free and starting a brand new life makes his hands shake with pure excitement. He takes a deep breath, packs the papers away, and thanks her. Honestly, he is just so grateful for her help. But he has one final request. If Song Qinghuan ever asks about him, she must promise to tell her absolutely nothing. They should never meet again. Song's mother looks at him in complete shock, realizing he never even told his wife he was leaving. What is there to say, really? Should he tell her he only married her to repay a debt, not because of love? That he was just trying to help her get over her ex on her mother's orders? There is absolutely no point in saying anything now. Her dream guy is back anyway, so she won't even care. He just smiles and says he wants a clean, quiet break. Suddenly, Song Qinghuan appears behind them, demanding to know where he is going. Luckily, her mother quickly steps in to cover for him. Song Qinghuan does not push it. She just looks at the stage and tells her mom it is time to cut the cake. But her mother claims she is not feeling well and tells them to do it instead, heading straight upstairs with her servant. Song Qinghuan reaches out to Yunchen to go cut the cake, but he just shakes his head and shows his injured hand. He tells her to go cut it with Cheng Nansheng instead. She looks totally stunned, like she is losing control of the situation.
She asks why she should go with him. Now, Yunchen is the one who is confused.
I mean, she is the one who always ditched him for her crush. She did it constantly for 5 whole years. Now that he is literally giving her what she wanted, she acts offended. He just smiles and says they are close anyway. Since he genuinely does not look angry, she drops it, even though she still feels like something is very wrong. Song Qinghuan walks straight up to Cheng Nansheng and whispers in his ear. Blushing, he nods, links arms with her, and steps on stage to cut the cake. Under the soft piano music, they lean into each other so closely. Honestly, this looks less like a birthday party and way more like a wedding. Halfway through the party, the elders head home early, leaving only the younger crowd behind. These rich kids grew up with them and know their entire history. Seeing them act so close, they immediately erupt into loud cheers. Some even chant for them to kiss, but our boy Shu Yunchen does not care at all, silently checking his phone. His flight leaves in 3 hours. Meaning he needs to head out right now. But his quiet, distant look makes everyone think he is just miserable. Cue the toxic in-laws. Song Yao and her group of spoiled rich friends walk over, laughing. By the time he looks up, they have him completely surrounded. Song Yao sneers, asking Shu Yunchen what it feels like to stand there like a loser after years of marriage. She mocks him, saying her sister only used him as a rebound to get over her real love, Cheng Nansheng. She tells him to scram, but Shu Yunchen just wants to go home and pack. He ignores their petty drama. As he turns to leave, they block him. They laugh, calling him an ugly duckling, dreaming of becoming a prince. They tell him he only got in because Cheng Nansheng went abroad, demanding he sign the divorce and get lost. They start shoving him, yelling to ask if he is a mute. Since he stays quiet, one angry guy loses his temper. He shoves Shu Yunchen hard. With a massive crash, our boy smashes right into a massive, towering champagne glass display. Glasses shatter everywhere. Seeing his red blood mixing with the wine on the floor is honestly heartbreaking. Everyone freezes. On stage, Song Qinghuan's eyes go wide. She drops Cheng Nansheng's hand and sprints over to her bleeding husband. Fuming with rage, she kneels to pull him up, screaming at the staff to call their private doctor immediately. She glares at the crowd, demanding to know who did this. Nobody dares to speak. Suddenly, a bodyguard rushes in. He reports that Cheng Nansheng's stomach is hurting bad and she needs to come quickly. Song Qinghuan holds tight to Shu Yunchen.
Frowning, she asks if it is that bad. The guard nods, saying he is rolling on the floor in pain. Now, she starts to hesitate, looking at her bleeding husband, but Shu Yunchen already knows exactly what she is going to say. Sitting up calmly, he tells her he gets it. Cheng Nansheng is fragile, and she's always the one taking care of him. She is completely speechless, not expecting him to let her off so easily. Shu Yunchen slowly struggles to his feet anyway. He tells her to go and to send the doctor to Cheng Nansheng instead. Seeing him so completely indifferent makes her panic. Usually he is understanding, but this time he is too calm. His eyes do not even reflect her anymore. That is terrifying. It is like he has completely checked out. She tries to say something to reassure him, but she is interrupted.
Cheng Nansheng screams in pain from down the hall. Hearing that, her hesitation vanishes, replaced by a guilty look at him.
She promises to make it up to him later, then turns and runs. Honestly, seeing her rush off to her ex is sickening.
Yunchen just laughs mockingly. He patches himself up in a spare room, then slowly limps out of the venue. Back at the villa, he packs up and leaves the signed divorce papers right on the living room table. It is finally happening. But as he opens the door, he runs straight into Song Yao. Instantly, she starts nagging him about running off.
She grumbles that her sister made her check on him. Why care about him when Cheng Nansheng is right there? Yunchen calmly tells her he does not need anything, pushing past her. But then she spots something.
She stares at his suitcase, her face turning pale as she grabs his wrist, demanding to know what he is doing. He looks at her with dead eyes, asking what it looks like. He points out her sister loves Cheng Nansheng anyway. He is stepping aside so they can finally be together. Hearing the word divorce, Song Yao freezes in absolute shock. She cannot believe it. Everyone in their circle knows how madly in love he was. How could he just walk away? Her voice actually trembles a bit as she tells Yunchen to stop faking it. He wanted this marriage so badly.
She accuses him of playing hard to get, calling it a cheap trick to make her sister feel bad.
He calmly points to the table, telling her to check the papers herself. Then he asks why she keeps holding his hand. Song Yao instantly lets go like she got burned. She snaps that she wants him gone so she can throw a party.
She claims her sister will be thrilled to be free, but honestly, she sounds like she is trying to convince herself.
Yunchen just congratulates her on finally getting her wish and walks out. Seeing his back, she suddenly feels incredibly anxious.
Panicking, she screams after him, demanding to know where he is going and why he is not telling her sister.
He pauses, looking back at the massive villa. To repay a favor, he pretended to love her sister for 5 whole years. Everyone called Yunchen a parasite clinging to the wealthy Song Qinghuan, but to repay her, he sacrificed his dreams and his future. For 5 years, he was the perfect husband, running the household with zero appreciation or respect. Living that suffocating, joyless life was absolute hell. But now, his debt is paid, his freedom is here, and he finally smiles. A genuine, carefree smile. From now on, he is finally going to live a life that belongs only to him. He waves goodbye, walking into the night with his suitcase. 3 days later, Song Qinghuan finally comes home for a quick change of clothes. Walking in, she automatically calls out his name. But only the servants show up to greet her. No sign of him anywhere. She walks over to the sofa and boom, there is a signed divorce agreement on the table. At the very bottom, her own signature is already penned in. Talk about a massive plot twist. Her face turns cold. She is racking her brain because she has zero memory of ever signing this document. Then she remembers. During breakfast, he handed her some paperwork, but she was too busy texting her precious first love, Cheng Nansheng. She signed it blindly. Infuriated by the realization, she squeezes the divorce papers and rips them to shreds. To her, this divorce is a joke. He literally jumped into the ocean for her, so there is no way he is leaving. She ditched him countless times without him ever getting mad. She assumes he's just jealous of Cheng Nansheng. He will crawl back eventually. She is completely certain of this, because nobody else will ever love her this blindly. For the next few days, the servants avoid mentioning his name, right up until Song Qinghuan brings Cheng Nansheng home. Her sister, Song Yao, takes one bite of her porridge, throws her spoon down, and demands Yunchen cook them a proper meal. The maid hesitates and admits the master has been gone for days. Song Yao gasps in pure shock. She thought Yunchen was just throwing a tantrum. After all, her family is a literal gold mine. Who would walk away from this level of wealth? She bites her lip and looks over at Cheng Nansheng. He is just quietly eating his porridge, acting totally oblivious, even though her sister has been obsessed with him for years. Now that the ex is back and the husband is out, her sister should be thrilled, right? But looking at Song Qinghuan, her face is tense. She seems deeply annoyed that Yunchen is still missing. Song Yao is annoyed too. He left, so why is he still living rent-free in her sister's head? Later, Cheng Nansheng goes upstairs. Song Yao turns to her sister and asks when she is finally going to make things official with Cheng Nansheng.
Song Qinghuan glares at her, completely caught off guard. Song Yao shrinks back in fear, but still tries to push her luck.
She mutters that since Xu Yunchen is out of the picture, she should just marry her true love already.
Song Qinghuan freezes. How did she know about the divorce? Song Yao admits she saw the signed papers last week.
Hearing this, Song Qinghuan's face drops. This means the divorce agreement was definitely not some cry for attention. He was dead serious about leaving her. She slams her coffee cup down and immediately pulls out her phone to call him.
But get this, she searches her contacts only to realize she never even saved her husband's phone number.
She gets his number from a servant and dials, only to hear a robotic voice saying the line is disconnected.
He literally deleted his entire existence from her life. Panic finally setting in, she storms out and jumps into her car. But where can she even look? He was an orphan who grew up in a shelter before her family sponsored him. Amidst angry car horns, she makes a sharp U-turn toward his old orphanage. But the director there is not happy to see her. After sending the kids away, the director coldly asks what she wants. Song Qinghuan ignores the attitude and gets straight to the point.
She demands to know where her husband is. The director just chuckles dryly at the sheer audacity of this woman.
You were married to him for 5 years and do not know where he is? Please leave. And just like that, she gets kicked out. Furious and empty-handed, she slams her fist against the steering wheel. She thought he was just playing hard to get, but this is real. His number is dead, his friends have no clue, and she finally has to face reality. Xu Yunchen is actually gone. She is totally spiraling. He used to worship the ground she walked on, so how could he just discard her like trash? Right on cue, her phone rings with a call from her sick mother, begging her to come home because they need to talk. Back at the house, her mother sighs. Since the divorce is finalized and her first love is back in town, what now?
Song Qinghuan instantly cuts her off, insisting she never agreed to the divorce, but her mother looks at her in absolute shock.
She pulls an official divorce certificate out of a drawer. But you guys are already legally divorced. Did he not tell you? Seeing her daughter's blank stare, the mother is baffled. She knew he left, but she had no idea the actual divorce was a secret too. Nobody explained how they actually signed the paperwork. Song Qinghuan stares at the divorce certificate, absolutely livid, as her eyes grow dark with rage.
She honestly thought Xu Yunchen only signed an agreement. No shot he already got the actual certificate. And if she remembers correctly, getting this
requires a whole 30-day cooling off period. This means Xu Yunchen was already planning to dump her over a month ago. Noticing her mother's confused face, she brushes it off and asks why her mom is suddenly trying to set her up with Cheng Nansheng. Her mother just smiles. You practically wanted to die for Cheng Nansheng back then, and now that he is back and Yunchen is out of the picture? Back then, everyone said she and Cheng Nansheng were toxic. Now, suddenly, everyone says they are perfect together, and it low-key makes her sick. But she never actually agreed to this divorce. Hearing those words out loud suddenly makes her feel incredibly anxious. 5 years is a long time, and she is totally dependent on him. Without Xu Yunchen, her life would absolutely fall apart. Plus, the guy worships the ground she walks on. She thinks he is just throwing a tantrum. Sure, Cheng Nansheng was her childhood crush, and she obsessed over him for years, but actually letting Xu Yunchen go, she is not ready for that. Seeing her daughter hesitate, her mom pulls out a hidden file. Song Qinghuan stares at the bold title, Repayment Agreement, with Xu Yunchen's signature right at the bottom. Her jaw drops. Mom, what is the meaning of this? Since she is her own flesh and blood, her mother decides to lay it all out. When Cheng Nansheng married someone else and left the country, Song Qinghuan completely spiraled, so her mom wanted to find someone to help her heal. Coincidentally, Xu Yunchen owed their family a debt of gratitude. They made a quick deal. He just had to stay with her for 5 years and help her move on. Honestly, he was the perfect husband, but he kept his distance. He always called her mother auntie instead of mom. Her mother actually hoped that if Cheng Nansheng never returned, she could treat Xu Yunchen as her actual son-in-law, but the second the 5-year contract ended, Cheng Nansheng came back. Song Qinghuan even got into a wreck trying to see him. While her mom was hesitating to bring up a split, Xu Yunchen walked away first. Her mind goes completely blank. She grips the contract so hard her knuckles turn white. Talk about a plot twist that completely shatters her world. So all that warmth, all that devotion for 5 years, it was just a job to him. He never actually loved her. That is why he was in such a rush to leave the moment her crush returned. But what about the way he looked at her? If it was all fake, why did he literally jump into the ocean to save her? Why look after her for 5 whole years? Her chest tightens as she reads the terms. The further she scrolls, the worse it gets. Major clauses like protecting her life at all costs. Down to minor things like doing all the chores. Every single thoughtful gesture was just a checkbox on a legally binding list. No real feelings? Just obligations? That realization completely crushes her. The tiny shred of hope she was clinging to is officially dead. In a blind rage, she tears the contract to shreds. Her mother watches in silence, completely shocked by her daughter's sudden outburst. She is usually so cold and composed. The only other time she lost it like this was when Cheng Nansheng left. This is new. Song Qinghuan takes a few shaky breaths, trying to force herself to calm down. If her mother signed this, she must know where he went. She looks up at her mom with a sudden glimmer of hope. Mom, you know where he is, right? You have to know. Her mother just stares at her. See, Yunchen had specifically begged her not to tell anyone where he was going. So she sighs. I am sorry, but I can't tell you. And honestly, even if I did, it would not matter anyway. Yunchen predicted this. He knew that as her mother, she would eventually give in and tell Song Qinghuan the truth. So he did not even go to the country they had planned. Song Qinghuan's heart sinks. She never realized he could be this cold. He cut her out of his life just as fast as he entered it. Her mother sighs, then tentatively brings up another topic. What about you and Cheng Nansheng? But before she can answer, her phone rings. It is her sister, sounding absolutely panicked. Sis, get home right now! Cheng Nansheng never actually got divorced, and his wife is currently raising hell at our front door!